Japan is a country I have always wanted to visit. It's one steeped in culture, history and immense beauty. And last month I finally took the 17-hour flight over to my dream destination. This is how I spent 30 days in Japan. I am in the city of Osaka in Japan. Now this city, despite being the third largest in Japan, is actually double the size of the UK's second biggest city, which is Birmingham. And unlike Birmingham, it's not only sunny here, but I also haven't seen an outbreak of rats. Now, one of the first places on my bucket list to visit when I visited Osaka was the aquarium, because I heard and saw that they had a whale shark, which hence the name whale is absolutely ginormous. And I've never actually seen one in person, so thought we'd tick it off the bucket list. But when I got off the train station, I was greeted with this view. That is a Ferris wheel, obviously. I've just shown you a Ferris wheel. But it is like the size of London Eye. And I mean, if that was in the UK, we'd charge 40 quid a go, and it would be plastered on every billboard and every bus in the centre of London. But here, I didn't even know this thing existed till I rocked up. So, somewhere in this gigantic building is the whale shark we're looking for. He's hiding in, well, he's probably not hiding. He's in a clear glass tank, and he's about, I don't know, 20 feet long. So he's definitely not hiding, but he is in there. So let's go find him. Now talk about a fish with aura. So, the audio on this clip is pretty unbearable to listen to due to the large mechanic structure I decided to ride. But if you couldn't tell already, I decided to take the Ferris wheel around. After my lovely authentic Japanese lunch consisting of Starbucks. But that aside, the aquarium plus the Ferris wheel cost me a grand total of 14 Great British pounds. Okay, let's get back to vlogging. We completed the Ferris wheel, ladies and gentlemen. It was like 3-4 quid. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not worth it, because not a lot of things on this planet aren't worth that kind of money. Also, look at that building there. That is quite something. See, in the UK, that would be a Spoons so quickly. There'd probably be a B&M on the left of it, maybe a Poundland on the right. But here in Japan, it's actually just an authentic coffee shop, which I would like to go and try, but I don't really like coffee, so won't be doing that today. I would like to say the aquarium was really good. It wasn't amazing, but it was really good. I've heard good things about it, and it I wouldn't say it exceeded expectations, but it delivered. I'd say Lisbon Aquarium's probably better. Copenhagen Aquarium was probably also better than it, but it's definitely up there. And it also had a whale shark, which is multiple. It had 2 of those buggers, and that is the first 2 whale sharks I've ever seen. After the aquarium, I decided to take a stroll to a local park, watch the sunset, and then head home to conclude my first solo day in Osaka. Okay, so my barn is getting a bit untamed, so we're going to head to get a sanpatsu, or a haircut. Now, I'm not really sure how this is going to go, right, because I can't speak Japanese very well, and I'm sure he can't really speak English. So my plan is just to head in, show him a picture, and pray to God he doesn't butcher my barnet. However, I've done some reading up on Google reviews, and this place does sound alright, so I have high hopes. So hopefully
I'll come out with something semi-decent, you know, fingers crossed. Let's go get a Japanese haircut.
A few moments later.
And just like that, the haircut is finished. I mean, you can't really complain. For £3, you know, bro's kind of giving me like a V cut. I look like I'm a Disney villain. And before I like ruffled it up when I came out, I looked like a Victorian chimney sweep because he combed it over like this. I don't know, I looked like the most, it was like this but with gel combed over, so I wetted it and I've given it a little fluff up, and it's not too bad. Like, it's not amazing. I'll put a picture on screen of what I asked for, and this is what I received. At the end of the day, it's a £3 haircut. And I can't speak their language, and it's my fault. That's on me. That's not their fault at all. So yes, I showed him a picture, but look, bro's given me kind of a fade, what resembles a fade, I guess. And you know, he's given it a good shot, and he was very friendly. So, God, it looks bad from this angle. But I'm gonna go home and have a shower and hope it's all right, I guess. All right, I've just wetted my hair. I can confirm it's quite uneven. I mean, this side is on a whole different level to this side. But that being said, when I went in there, it was a load of old Japanese men just getting buzz cuts. Like, it was all gone. There was not a single grain of hair left on anybody's head in there. So I think when I went in there and asked for actually grains of hair to be, or strands of hair I should say, to be left on my head, they were kind of took back, you know, because they're just used to buzzing it. So with all things considered, it's not the worst. I love how good the vibes are here though. It's just all lit up. There's loads of people just at the park having fun, and just everyone seems to be having a good time. But we are now going to head to arguably my favourite place in Osaka, and it is this little bar that I found on night 2 of me being here, night 2 or 3 of me being here, when my friend Kian was here with me as well. We went out and we discovered this small little local bar run by a husband and wife, and amazing vibes, amazing alcohol, and they're also just insanely good at karaoke. So let's go check it out. Konbanwa. Kanpai.
Kanpai. 와, 나 씨. 무슨 인장? 하이 치즈.
As is always the case for me, I went for a singular pint and ended up staying till around 3 AM, getting very drunk and stumbling home. But again, I was so incredibly touched by just how welcoming everyone is in Japan. So thank you to Danny and the others for such an unforgettable night in Osaka.
Okay, so last night got a bit silly. Now, I am meeting someone very special today, a man called Yuya, who is a professional cyclist, and he's going to take me around the more rural areas surrounding Osaka City. Now, me personally, I haven't ridden a bike in 2 years maybe, so I'm going to have to channel my inner Bradley Wiggins, minus the doping. Did he take drugs? I don't even know. I don't watch Tour de France and stuff. But point is, I'm going to have to just get my act together and let's go send it.
So this is Yuya. Me, him and someone named Mike explored some of the villages that surrounded Osaka. Now, this experience was rather surreal for me. We met a plethora of friendly locals who were all so kind and welcoming. We learnt lots of new things, like how the traditional Japanese flooring called tatami is made and produced, the process of making fig wine. We visited some ancient tombs and temples, and we then went to Yuya's house. Now, at this point in the trip, I'd been in Japan for over 2 weeks, and the only time I'd really left the city was to see Mount Fuji in Tokyo. So having this experience, meeting 2 complete strangers who very quickly became my friends, is one of the most cherished memories I have from my trip in Japan. And it actually inspired me to stay in the most rural village in the country, but that's a video for the future. After our tour of the surrounding villages, I took Yuya out for lunch where we had traditional bento boxes, and he told me a little bit more about his business.
So I have done a burger for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Very good. Yeah. And I started this guest house.
Yeah.
It's about 7 years ago.
So after channeling my inner Bradley Wiggin, like I said I would, minus the drugs, I'm finished. And Oh my gosh, what a tour it was. Yuya, our guide, was not only the nicest person I've ever met on this planet, but he also welcomed us into his home and just knew so much about the area. It was fascinating. I'm going to leave a screenshot to the tours he provides. I think he does it through Airbnb on screen now. And if you are in Osaka, I cannot recommend highly enough that you go and check it out. And another thing that just blew me away was just the cycle routes here in Japan. Like, the cycle paths were pristine, and it was like no one was on them. Like, it was mental. I don't know how they do it. But I can confidently say, as much as I absolutely love the hustle and the bustle and all the futuristic stuff in all of the Japanese cities, you know, Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, it's mind-boggling. My absolute favourite are these old historic towns. I mean, listen, you can't hear anything but the birds calling, and that's just therapeutic to me. And that is my biggest tip. Explore outside the cities. Do the less urban areas. Go into the nature. Find the small towns and villages and speak to people. You know, we had a fascinating woman at the vineyard who let us sample some of the local wines. We tried this lovely sweet fig wine, which I ended up getting a bottle of for my mum in my bag. So hopefully that doesn't smash while I'm aimlessly wandering around some old Japanese town. Now, another thing about the more urban areas of Japan are people are so friendly here. Like, they go above and beyond. They're really accommodating. They make you feel so welcome, and they give you a huge smile. Now, it's not that they aren't like that in the more urban areas. However, konnichiwa. Where was I? And it's not like they aren't like that in the more urban areas. However, they are a bit more reserved, I'd say. You have to kind of break them down a bit, you know, chat to them, maybe have a couple beers with them, a couple bevs, break them down, and then they start to open up. But here, people are instantly friendly and so helpful and very smiley, and it's quite refreshing to see. In fact, all the kids that I've walked past, hang on, that sounds dodgy, but every kid I've walked past is like fascinated by me. And that's probably because they've never seen a pasty white person out in their random village. So these small towns and villages are absolutely littered with torii gates. I'm going to go check out this shrine or temple right here. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we'll have a look. Now, torii gates have to be top 10 coldest things, konnichiwa, in just human history. I mean, they just radiate aura. Everything about them is just incredibly cool. Like, if I was to be reincarnated as an object or a building, put me as one of these bad boys, because they are just so awesome. Alright, that's enough bum licking of torii gates, but they are cool. Anyway, this path is leading us up the mountain, so hopefully there is a bench. That is the one drawback with Japan. There are no bins and there are no benches. I want to sit down, take my heavy backpack off and just soak it all in. But I can't, so I'll have to sit on some like metal steps or something. But that is genuinely the only drawback of this country. There are no bins because they're all inside their convenience stores, yet the streets are still so clean. Just look at that. Tell me that's not such a cool little nook, you know. You just want to like disappear down there. I mean, their villages are just like mazes because they have so many tiny little alleyways and nooks and crannies that you can just explore and get lost in. It is like a mole's, what's it called, a mole's den, an underground labyrinth. But what Yuya was saying to me is a lot of these houses will be completely empty. There will be no one in them.
Okay, so just for a bit of context on this clip right here, 92% of Japan's population now live in urban areas. And with younger people moving to the cities for job opportunities, it leaves the villages with an ageing population. There are few families or workers to sustain local services or keep the populations up, and they are slowly becoming ghost towns. The Japanese government has put measures in place to try and persuade more people to move back into the villages, so let's just pray that these incentives can work.
Which is such a shame, and I really hope that the Japanese government find a way to keep these small towns and villages alive, because I don't want them to get, you know, lost to past, or I don't want them to be left in the past, rather. I want them to all be preserved, and obviously they're not going to... Hang on. How on earth have the minions made it out here? Fair enough. Minions are massive. But, yeah, I don't want this to get left. That would be such a shame. It is bloody steep up some of these streets. I mean, this is like borderline a 90-degree angle. Now, I have no idea what is up here, but we will find out in a minute. This is genuinely crazy how steep this is. Bloody hell, this is a great workout. So there's another Tory gate. Oh my gosh, a bench. Scrap that, there's 3 of them. 3 of the buggers. This is the rarest thing to find in Japan. But again, there is no one here. It is completely deserted and it's so peaceful. All I can hear are the birds. Right, I am titling today Cultural Tuesday because we are going to go to the National History Museum and then the Botanical Gardens. The weather is lovely, it's about 29 degrees. So let's go see what it's about. Right, we have arrived at the Botanical Gardens, Nagy Park, and also, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what I'm going to say. There's also a baseball stadium here, and then of course, the Natural History Museum, because I am a man of culture. The sun is cooking me alive though, as you can probably see I'm a bit sunburnt, so I've had to lather up in sun cream like I'm attending a Diddy party. So hopefully today, we don't burn. I've got factor 30 on because I do want a little bit of a tan, you know, but none of you guys care, so I'm just going to head to the museum now. So apparently scientists say that if a kid is interested in dinosaurs, they have a higher chance of being autistic. In that case, I must be severely autistic because you can't tell me these things aren't sick. Like, they are awesome, man. Tell me that is not the coolest thing you've ever seen. I imagine this alive, just knocking around. Like this, especially that looks like an Allosaurus or something. Oh yes, I was the kid back in the day who had all the top trumps, knew all the names. I was severely on the spectrum, man. Still am. When I tell you, I told you it was an Allosaurus, it says it right there, baby. A huge part of me wishes dinosaurs were still alive, so I could just be like, imagine the fear of being hunted. Like you're just on your like Sunday walk, you know, you've just had a roast and bang, you're being hunted by a velociraptor. Actually, they were tiny. Maybe an allosaur is just lurking in the bushes, you know? That would just be cool. It had a bit of adrenaline to our lives, you know? Right, I've just finished up in the Natural History Museum. It was small, it was all in Japanese, but it was well worth £2, you know? I mean, there was only like 6 rooms, but they A, had dinosaur skeletons, B, once you Google translate the text, it is actually quite interesting, and C, I now get access to the Botanical Gardens, which come with the ticket, and they are pretty big, so let's go explore. Give me a tent, I'm pitching it right here, fishing the stream for survival, and I would just live here. You know, flat out, I would live here in a heartbeat. So whilst I've been in Japan, I have been absolutely feasted alive on by mosquitoes. Like, all my legs are bitten, some of my arms, I even got bitten on the head. Didn't even know mosquitoes go for the head, because there's not much blood up there, it's just pure skull. But apparently it's possible, because it happened to me. But anyway, the point is, I heard that if you drink copious amounts of alcohol, mosquitoes don't bite you. So my top tip is maybe become an alcoholic if you come to Japan, because then mosquitoes won't bite you. So it's a quite good survival technique there that I'm putting you all on, giving you a little nugget of information. So I've climbed this large metal structure to be in the canopies of the trees. However, can't actually really see much up here. This is like the only clear spot over here, and it's just like a field of grass. So whilst I'm at the top of this massive metallic structure, I figured I've been bitten by a mosquito right on the jaw. That is super annoying and probably won't leave for about 3 days. So I'm gonna have to enjoy that in the rest of my vlog. I think Japan as a whole is just, it has this like wholesome feel to it. You know, I walked past a family feeding fish on the side of the river here. I walked past an old couple having a picnic by the lake. Like, it is just like what you imagine paradise to be like. I mean, the sun's out, the nature's in bloom. It sounded like an Oasis song here. Summertime's in bloom. But let me take you to the flower gardens. You can see some of the beauty of the man-made and well-maintained gardens here in Japan. Right, I can smell the fragrance of flowers. We are closing in, I can sense it. It's not looking very colourful yet, but I have a feeling behind this hedge may lie a sea of flowers. My God, it wasn't a sea I sensed, it was a whole bloody ocean. Look at this place. No wonder I could smell the flowers from about 200 metres away. There's so many of them. It is so hot. I just want to dive face first into this like 2 centimetre deep fountain. But I feel like that might be frowned upon here, so I'm going to restrain myself from that. So as we stroll through the bamboo in the botanical gardens of Osaka and round off Cultural Tuesday in Japan, all I can say is, I'll let the wind die down because it's probably obscuring my voice a bit. All I can say is this has been amazing value for money. I mean, 300 yen to come into the gardens and go to a museum. It's, you know, I've been here 5 hours and I've still got more to look around. So I could not recommend this place highly enough. It's called Nage Park on Google Maps. And again, if you are here, just come here. I mean, it's next to nothing price-wise and it's just beautiful, like stunning. So I think I'm going to go wallow in the sun for the last few hours while it's open and then make my way back home and find some, you know, to round off Cultural Tuesday, we'll have some authentic Japanese dinner somewhere. I might record it, I might not. You'll obviously see in a couple of seconds whether I do. Right, we got home, we showered, we've rested up. It's time to go grab some grub, so let's go. Okay, so we finished up in the restaurant. It was very good, very touristy, but I mean, I couldn't find anything else. All of the noodle bars were either empty, which is never a good sign in one of the busiest cities on the planet, or just absolutely heaving. There was no like in between. Also, if you had epilepsy and lived in Japan, God, it would be a long day for you. You would just be having a fit every couple of hours because there's so many flashing lights here. I should probably put an epilepsy warning on this video. We're just hanging on at the side of a basically cliff face. It's very sketchy. And there are over 2,000 shrines and temples here. This is what life is about.